Hello, can you send the candidates in, please? You're watching the Apprenticeship, and I'm here with Charles and Michaela. This is the first edition of the Apprenticeship. So, God, get rid of those.
Can't see anything.
Actually, make me feel sick.
You now look like you've got a boat sticking out of your head.
So, this is our first ever version of the Apprenticeship, and we watched last night's episode of The Apprentice. That was episode number 3. So, do we think Elliot Van Emden was the guy who went? Do we think he was the right person to go?
I think he was a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And can I speak?
Yes.
And poor guy. I mean, he was just weak, the weakest link.
Yeah, I think she should have gone, but she stayed because of the force of her personality in the boardroom.
I liked her. I thought she's more of a character, more interesting. And obviously, you've got to remember, with all these things, it's a TV show.
Yeah.
So he wasn't very interesting for TV, really. In that, what tends to happen in the first few weeks is they get rid of the ones that are just not very interesting. I was reading a really interesting article the other day. You know that basically The Apprentice isn't on television basically anywhere else in the world.
It's
really popular.
It?
It was really popular here.
Yeah.
And then it lasted a couple of years everywhere else.
And no one else liked it.
Well, no, they liked it, but it ran its course, or it did 5
okay.
years in Scandinavia or whatever.
Right.
But it's been on now for 12 years or something? More. More. For a massive amount of time.
I think one of the problems with it currently in the current form is that they're struggling for tasks because they've done so many things so often that the tasks are just not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I really like the VR one.
Challenging.
Yeah, the VR one was good.
That was very different.
So, what some of the things that caught your eye? I know one thing caught your eye in the Bridge Café.
Okay. Let me just slide this in.
Yeah. Anyone feeling hungry?
So, I was going to say, how much do you think corned beef, chips and beans is in the Bridge Café? It's £4.80. That's pretty good, I think.
I think that's decent.
Yeah.
For that London?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought one of those things you meant was going to be £4.80.
No, each? No. Altogether.
Corned beef, £4.80.
Cheap as chips, corned beef and beans.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go to the Bridge Café one day. And,
it is there. It is actually there.
A little pilgrimage. I'll tell you what, some of the things that caught my eye.
Yeah.
2 words caught my ears were undermined.
Undermined.
She said that at least twice.
Yeah.
And
you undermined me.
You undermined me, yeah. And then the other word that caught my was what was it? Flirn. Flirn, yeah. They wanted to
flair and learn.
Where did the F come from? I can't remember.
Wasn't it learn with flair?
It's fun learning.
Fun learning.
Flirning.
Flirn.
Yeah. So you're missing a trick.
She didn't like that.
They were awful, weren't they?
Yeah.
The girls,
Siobhan really setting herself up for a big fall.
Yeah.
I love the way she said at one point, in a really decisive tone, I'm not being decisive. Really decisively.
Yeah. And I think she out of all of them, they could have sold her as a robot. Because she has this kind of robotic kind of way of,
she talks.
Not necessarily the way she talks, but the way she reacts to people.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always have sort of like even though, some of them come across as bad, I always think, oh, I know it's TV, and they're making them out to look bad as well.
Yeah.
Or they're making them out to look good or whatever. Yeah. And they were setting up Siobhan to be sacked for that whole episode, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought she would have gone if the women had been in the boardroom. Siobhan was,
Yeah.
And they keep putting her with Elizabeth, and together they're just a
was Elizabeth
bad
the
match.
The one,
she's the wacky one, a little bit older.
The one with the glasses.
Yeah.
With
the
you like her, don't you?
I like the ones that are from I like the ones that are from where I'm from. Found it out.
I'm doing
it now. She's from Nottinghamshire.
Ah, right.
And the younger woman who was telling her Siobhan to stop interrupting her. She's from Derbyshire, so like where I'm from. So I had this instinctive affinity.
But don't you hate people from Dorby if you're from Nottingham?
Dorby? I'm not from Nottingham.
Derby.
But
I'm from Derbyshire.
Oh, right, okay. So therefore,
but I must have this natural affinity to East Midlands people.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. What do you think about them splitting into girls' team and boys' team, as they call it?
I think that's a little bit old hat now. I think they could do without that from the beginning. and I think it sets a bit more. It's kind of a bit of a sexist rivalry as well, which I think is a bit dated.
Between the boys' team and the girls'
Yeah, yeah. Michaela actually reminded me of me last night because she sat there and she had the 7 boys with her. I got 7 brothers, and they put her. Alan Sugar put her with them because she's got 4 brothers.
It's all very obvious.
And I thought she managed the guys really well. I thought she kind of could get down to their sort of level, and obviously not a lower level, but speak on their level and be one of the boys. So that reminded me of me.
Have you ever worked on a team where it's all been women or all been men? Well, a few were there. It wasn't all men, but you know.
Have I?
I've obviously
not such where it's complete split, where it's just one or the other.
But it's interesting because you're about to go into business with your 3 sisters.
I am.
And your 7 brothers.
How many siblings have you got?
Yeah, so I'm one of 11.
Wow.
And your 7 brothers have got a business.
So you could basically do the
moment.
Apprentice, just your family. Could
Yeah,
just do the Apprentice.
we could. That would be interesting. Wheedle out the ones that are.
But do you think on the Apprentice that if it was your 7 brothers against your 4 sisters in the task, say last night,
We'd win.
would you smash them?
Yeah,
They don't-
absolutely.
they don't-
And-
To be perfectly serious for a minute about that, about the women versus men thing. Yeah, I hate it. It's very old hat and 70s and kind of really sexist setup to say women can. Guess what? Women can be as good as men.
Yeah.
Can lead men.
Yeah.
All that, it's, especially now when it's full in the media. There's all kinds of
Well,
to still imply that there's a glass ceiling is.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, it does have the effect of doing that. I wouldn't say that they're doing that deliberately. I think they're doing it for expediency because we've got 7 women, 7 men.
Yeah,
we can make 2 separate teams, and then we can mix them up, and and then they got that thing like you just said about the woman.
Yeah.
Being shoved in with the brothers.
With the boys. I think
With the boys.
also it's they want to sort of develop that drama from early on, so they have to, because it's kind of instinct for when girls argue, it comes across as being bitchy or catty, and it's not the best quality when you get a group of women in one room, and if they're all strong personalities, they'll all want to speak over each other, and it just ends up becoming this big mess and argument, and it's just uncomfortable to watch.
Do you think that
but they do that? They want to do that. They want to cause rifts at the beginning. They want the big personalities to stand out, and that's why they split them into gender.
And conversely to the women, the men, I noticed one of the things I took away from watching the programme was that a few of the men, I think it was maybe Harrison, were doing all the cliched men like
I think there's
So it's like are they playing up to the cliches, or the TV programmes highlighting the cliches and stuff like that?
And if they'd have got their board right, their branding right, if she hadn't have changed the name, if they'd just put together a reasonable looking board, they could have potentially made some sales in both of those pitches. Because the pitches went better than the girls' pitches in terms of the function of the robot and how it performed. But it was the branding all the way.
Yeah. So the other thing, the other thing I really want to say was when you're talking about the branding and the pitches and stuff is, some of those people are supposed to be like salespeople and good at what they do. Who in that program that we watched, who demonstrated that they were a good salesperson, they were a good pitcher? Basically no one. Some of those people are supposed to be doing that and selling their business. I was sat there watching thinking, I know this has been edited and everything, but I can do a much better job than that.
Yeah.
And I would go into it, but for starters, I wouldn't have made those mistakes on the board, which is just, amateur mistakes, weren't they? They were just pathetic amateur mistakes. But then when you go in, and also how they're trying to set it up on The Apprentice as well. It's like, right, so that where the women started arguing, talking over each other and everything, you would just want to go beforehand, you go, right, I'm talking, you 3, they probably shouldn't even be in the room.
Yeah.
We did a pitch of the room. There's 3 of us that went down to London for meetings. We had different pitches the other week. And we said, right, no more than 2 people. You shouldn't have more than 2 people in a pitch meeting.
And people think it's a badge of honour to lead the pitch, so people, and they can't countenance the fact that maybe they're not good at it. So they just go in without thinking and put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they don't know their stuff. So it's probably time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Just quickly, have you seen any front runners? Anybody you think might have a chance of winning at this stage?
I like James. I think if Jade chills out a little bit, she could be in there. I think she led the girls' team yesterday. She could have done a better job, but I think if she just needs to chill out a little bit and stop being sort of attempting to be, you know, the perfect PM she was trying to be. And James, I like him, and hopefully Michaela will go far because I like her.
I would pick out
personality.
Michaela. I think she has a genuine chance. It depends on what the business is, and as long as she doesn't make any more horrendous mistakes.
Well,
Simon.
For starters,
Simon.
what I'll always say about The Apprentice, it's irrelevant. The first 12 weeks or whatever are completely irrelevant because Alan Sugar has made his decision before the program starts by looking at the business plan. And then in the previous series, when he did the job interview, they might have not have done the previous 11 weeks or whatever because they're just all based on the job interview. So the whole program's absolutely pointless. And quote me on that, BBC. It's just a television program. I will say I don't think any of the men are going to win. I think it's definitely going to be one of the women because there's so many strong candidates for the women this year. And the ones that I really liked are the ones that I'm still going to have trouble with all the names because there's too many. You know, when you're at the start and you've got like 20 people to remember their names, you can never remember.
Name badges the whole time.
But so I definitely think it'll be one of the women. The one I like. So what was the woman that led the sub team for the women this week that argued with Siobhan?
Sarah.
I really liked her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was watching the program, and about halfway through the program, I'd forgotten who their team leader was, and I thought it was her, and it wasn't. It was Jade, the blonde woman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jade
she disappeared. She disappeared.
Yeah.
Jade and Sarah was. I thought she was project manager, so I think she's going to win.
Jade is from Manchester, of course, where we're sitting. This is my pocket square, by the way. It's my contention that men think on The Apprentice they look really smart when they've got a pocket square, so I made one out of paper. We'll see you next time on The Apprenticeship. Excellent. Thanks, guys.